Okay guys, I promise this will be my last video about Kevin Levrone. His return reminded me just recently of a return of another legend quite a while back in the Olympia, that being Sergio Oliva. This guy was a three-time Mr Olympia, left the IFBB due to some controversial decisions, primarily seemingly led by Joe Weider, for the, what's it called, the WBBG and the WABBA, and results there were really, seemed like he was just cruising through that. He came back to the 1984 Mr Olympia and placed an 8th. Now, I don't know really if there was any politics involved in that. He came back good, but not good enough to win. He had plenty of size, but I think he's sort of the conditioning wasn't there, which was a changed aspect of the sport in the IFBB. So he wasn't right up there. So he placed 8th there, and he didn't embarrass himself by a long way, and beat some very good competitors: Bob Paris, Frank Richard, Bob Birdsong, if you remember those names. Some other guys were there that actually didn't beat Bob Paris. That was 85, sorry. But there was someone like Mohammed McAway. Now, he was second place in that competition, and come on, that guy was so small. He'd be about $180 if that, and he had no hamstrings. I don't know, I never really liked that guy anyway, so I'm a bit of never really let that one go. But look, basically, he's a guy that was a former Mr Olympia, coming back after 13 years, I think, from his last Olympia. These things are sort of sounding familiar. Now, the difference has been, though, that the whole way through Sergio was competing, as opposed to Kevin. Now, that's a great thing in terms of keeping that match fitness, if you like, but he was on supplements the whole time, you'd have to expect, even though he had superior genetics and particularly through the arms, just a giant. But he came into that, he's 44 years old, he looked older than Kevin does now, and there's always questions about his age being correct as well, I'll let you know. But he looked like he was an older guy that was, his body was tired, his muscles looked drawn out, not fresh at all. Now, Kevin's decision to go off and do some acting and singing, that sort of thing, dropping a lot of weight. I've put up a picture here of him in, cut smaller shape but looking good, but there's a lot of photos there I didn't want to put up because he looked like, dad shape, not good shape at all. Now, that might have done him a world of good, because he's totally freshened up his body when he's come back. All those muscle memories come into action. Use of the vitamins would have a great effect, because it's on a freshly brand new body rather than pumping it in constantly over a decade. So I think that's not going to be a factor for him that Sergio had, even though he's 8 years older than him. I think he's going to look a lot fresher up there in the muscles, and a lot more defined. He's been watching the game, he knows what's going on, because we do have the social media now, which you can see everything, which you didn't have back in the day. So all Sergio probably has seen, if he's really against the Weeders and IFBB, would have been magazines for his knowledge. And let me tell you, back then in 83, 84, the magazine's quality was pretty average, I reckon. I thought it was great at the time, but looking back, they were quite grainy and crap. So Kevin knows what's going on. The other thing is, Kevin doesn't have a problem with the IFBB, which Sergio did. Now, I'm pretty sure they were keen for him to come back to promote him, get the audience in, which they've done with Kevin, but Kevin hasn't been competing in another organisation all this time and hasn't pissed off the Weeders, which was a big deal back in the day, for lots of politics about their agendas and in their favourite bodybuilders. And Arnold couldn't have lost the competition. He went in pretty much while the Weeders were in charge, if he was anywhere near in shape. And Sergio was the only person to beat him, and that was it. But anyway, look, that was it. I just want to throw that out there as a little idea that it's been done before unsuccessfully, but I think this is a different game and a different bodybuilder altogether. All right, good luck, Kevin.